And Deborah Medina is good enough to join us now from Wharton, Texas. The comments you made, Deborah, about 9/11, they seem to have hurt you. Are you trying to walk it back now somewhat, or have you, or do you want to?
Well, I think we came out pretty clearly and early to clarify. You've talked about a second question that I got there from Glenn. I laughed off right away. We've had all kinds of kind of absurd things thrown at candidates, and that was one, frankly, I had never heard in over a year of campaigning. Never talked about that and laughed. Apparently, sometimes you just got to say no. And
well,
as clearly as I should have. I said no. I am not a truther. I don't consider myself to be a truther.
Let me hear you. We've got some sound of you here so the audience can hear you. This is you clarifying your remarks as well. Let's listen to that if we got it.
9/11 Commission report, great sections of that are redacted and they're top secret. That makes us all wonder, well, what's happening back there? And the same is true with the birth certificate thing.
It almost sounds there like you're not convinced that the government may not have played a hand in it. Just so for the record, if you want to stomp this out right here now on national television, do you believe the government, the U.S. government, played any role in all in 9/11?
I have made it very clear that I believe Muslim terrorists flew planes into those buildings, and I do not believe our government colluded with them or worked with them in any way. The question that I've alluded to and I've left open is those recognizing that there were questions raised by the 9/11 Commission. I think it's incumbent on people in leadership to rely on and make decisions on objective evidence. This is all a diversion from this race. I've issued my statements.
Well, but wait a minute.
And am focusing on the issues here in Texas.
Deborah, either you do or you don't believe that 9/11 was in any way caused or helped by the U.S. government. Do you or don't you? Because first you said you don't, and then you said there are questions that are being raised by the 9/11 Commission. So help us understand, what questions are being raised by the 9/11 Commission that we as Americans should be concerned about in terms of culpability on the part of our government?
I have not talked about those, and I'm not going to talk about those. I am in no position here. I wasn't a member of the commission. I am simply stating that I do not consider myself to be a truther. I believe Muslim terrorists flew those planes, and I am a sensible enough, rational enough person to know that the experts that were chosen by our Congress and by our president raised some questions. I have not studied that report, and I'm not going to speculate about the content or the conclusions that they drew. I know that there are questions, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
So we'll leave it at that. There are questions. How about the birth certificate thing? You say you're not a truther. Are you a birther?
No, not a birther.
Not at all. You don't doubt that the President of the United States is legitimately a citizen of the United States, born in Hawaii?
No, I do not. I've not questioned that at all. I think what all of this gets to, and the reason that people are coming after me, is I am someone, this shouldn't be about what Deborah Medina believes or frankly what other candidates personally believe. Our job as governors or as candidates for governor is to ensure that we have government that protects the life, liberty, and property of her citizens. And I have said we've got to have accountability in government. We don't have the kind of accountability in government we need in Texas, and I'm going to champion that. So I hope as we do these interviews that folks don't take that to mean, well, Deborah's saying people can't ask questions. I spent a year saying Republicans are in trouble because they're not walking their talk. We want clear, transparent, accountable government. And if we had those things, these questions you're raising today would be a non-issue.
What's your position on immigration?
We have talked about, over and over, that the wealth of a nation is her people. We need a healthy immigration process, very disturbed by some things that are going on here in Texas. Namely, our governor championed in the second debate the fact that Texas offers in-state tuition to illegal immigrants. The governor claims that that is to help them towards citizenship. The fact of the matter is, it's the ultimate bait and switch. It's a horrible program because while the state offers in-state tuition, those who qualify for that under the federal law, if you've been here for 3 years, you're forever barred from becoming a citizen. So we've got state law that says you've got to be here 3 years to get in-state tuition. Federal law says if you're here 3 years, you'll never get American citizenship. You'll never get U.S. citizenship. The fine print is an ultimate and a gotcha. It is not taking care of our neighbors. It's horrible policy. And we see that up and down in Texas under the governor's leadership. It's time for new leadership in Texas, and that's what we're fighting hard for.
Do you think undocumented immigrants, and this is a very relevant question for someone living in the southwest part of the United States, obviously, do you think that undocumented immigrants benefit Texans or simply take from Texans?
Boy, I don't think there's any question that's a yes answer. Certainly there are members, there are people, everybody contributes to the society, I guess I'm trying to say. Whether you're here illegally or not, we're all contributing to the society, and people, I don't know whether that's a net sum gain or loss, I guess, depending on how you're looking at it. The wealth of a nation is people. But first, we've got to remember that this is a constitutional republic. We are the greatest nation on the face of the earth because we created a set of laws that are supposed to be fair and just and apply equally to everyone. We're finding ourselves in large regard in the predicament that we're in because we have failed to adhere to those laws. Those standards are applied the same to everybody that's here. That's what we're fighting for, recognizing that people are the wealth of the nation. We want a healthy, prosperous immigration process.
All right. Well,
we're at people.
Well, and I understand. I mean, for the record, the question was pretty clear. Do you think undocumented immigrants benefit Texans, or is it the other way around? Do they take away from Texans? I'm not quite sure. You gave us an answer to that, but nonetheless, we're out of time. We appreciate the fact that you've taken time to explain your positions to us and try and clear up some of the things that have been reported about you and some of the things that you may have said during other interviews. My thanks to you, Deborah, for taking time once again there in Texas to talk to us today. Take care.